ABC Women would like to thank BIPOC Executive Search for sponsoring today's episode.
The BIPOC Executive Search app is here for you. Get information about job opportunities we're recruiting for. Keep up to date and in the know about career news tailored to Indigenous, Black, and other racialized audiences. Gain helpful tips and learnings to help you on your career trajectory, celebrate job appointments, and more. The BIPOC Executive Search app, here to elevate the candidate experience for Black, Indigenous, and communities of color. Free to download and available on iPhone and Android smartphones.
Look how far you have come on your own, but never alone. Through the rain and through the shine, here's your moment, it's your time. You stood tall and now you see, standing in your destiny. 100 woman, growing strong. 100 woman, where you belong. You stood tall and now you see, you have reached your destiny, woman.
100 ABC Women would like to take this opportunity to welcome our viewers and listening audience, families, friends, and our sponsors to our inspirational conversations, fireside chats with 100 ABC honorees. 100 Accomplished Black Canadian Women is a bold initiative created by the co-authors, the Honorable Dr. Jean Augustine, a former MP, Dauna Jones-Simmonds, a corporate diversity executive, and Dr. Denise O'Neill Green, Vice President, Equity and Community Inclusion at Ryerson University. Our mission is to celebrate and archive the professional accomplishments of trailblazing Black women from all across Canada. The goal is to create an ever-expanding database available for current and future generations via print media, public and private libraries, as well as a website, which is www.100abcwomen.ca. We are pleased to bring you a series of fireside chats which include conversations around education, healthcare, entertainment, creative arts, legal, technology, entrepreneurship, diversity and equity, media, engineering, politics, sports, and so much more. These, we know, are topics that matter to us and to you. These educational and inspirational conversations will be made available to all current and future generations via our 100 ABC YouTube channel. This is a great way to learn from our elders, brilliant-minded and accomplished Black Canadian women.
Please join me as we welcome Dauna Jones-Simmonds, co-author, co-founder, and the architect of the 100 Accomplished Black Canadian Women Project.
100 ABC Women is pleased to have two phenomenal event planners and etiquette experts. They are Joan, Pierre, and Noreen, Callender. These phenomenal women are 2018 honorees. We are so privileged to have you both here today. Before we get started, though, I would like to let the audience know a little about you. Noreen has been deeply involved in several community initiatives, which include youth and seniors in the Scarborough area, Scarborough, Ontario. She primarily volunteers at church, the library, and at various cultural activities and events into community centers, as well as with other various MPs and councillors. She has planned and coordinated church events, retreats, tea parties, bus trips, fashion shows, and cruises, to name a few. And as I understand it, they have all been very successful. Oh, she has also been the recipient of many awards and certificates of appreciation for work done not only at her regular job, but within the community, with Caribana and, of course, 100 accomplished Black Canadian women. Thank you, Noreen, for your support. Now, Joan. Joan has had a multifaceted career encompassing administrative management and consulting in the public and private sector. She is a producer, event planner, stage manager, and production manager. She has played a leadership role in the design, planning, and implementation of events such as Caribana, the African Heritage Music Festival, which is held in New Orleans, the African Canadian Achievements Awards, and produced two fashion shows, Cut in Style Caribbean is called, for the Pan Am Games 2015, and has also developed a certificate program in event planning and event management at York University. She's also a 100 Accomplished Black Canadian honoree. She has also received an award for African achievement as well as for African achievement. She has been listed in the special edition called Celebrating 50th Anniversary of Independence of Trinidad and Tobago. Obviously, she's from there, just to name a few, and also listed in the Who's Who in Black Canada. So, my friends, we got outstanding women here. You are now in the presence of two esteemed event planners and etiquette experts. So let's get started. I've got a question. Joan and Noreen, you're both event planners and have to deal with a lot of matters of etiquette. Noreen, you tend to focus on the church, and Joan, you focus on the entertainment side. From both of your perspectives, what does etiquette in your world mean when managing your events? Joan, I'll start with you.
Thanks a lot, Donna. I love the introduction. I'm wondering if that's really me. Well, let's say it's a bit different now. There are elements that remain the same, and there are elements that definitely change over time. The technology took the lead in making things work faster and more efficient. But there are some basic elements that I would say need attention, like that personal touch that makes a difference. The way we planned events 10 years ago is different today. And we cannot ignore the fact that the ever-changing world of technology is making a huge difference in many areas, because you are competing with other events, making use of the technology in a lot of their presentations. But we still need both the human and the technology to come together to make it spark and be a wow factor when producing events, which is what I tend to work towards every time. I like the wow factor. The way we planned is really, really changing, but we still need them both. So when coming to etiquette, we may have many areas that we still have to follow. Technology cannot take its place totally. So for event planners today, they have to make use of the new technology and merge the best of both together, but always having a keen eye for attention to details and the ability to overcome challenges quickly and efficiently. We also have to plan events in a way that preserves the planet and ensure our suppliers are like-minded and compelled to do the same. Some examples of changes: a seating plan is no longer a huge task. That has been a nightmare for years when doing seating plans for events, especially huge galas. Creating a map for an outdoor event, you now can get an app to do that for you. registration online, also how to advertise. It's all online with social media. The internet make ticketing buying so easy. No more queuing at a box office. It really helps, but you still need that personal touch to make it all come together. So for event planners, it's about delivering a creative campaign that runs through an event from conception to completion. The attention to details is even greater.
Wow. But what about you, Noreen? Have you seen anything different from yesteryears?
Well, as you said before, I am in the church business. And yes, we've seen differences. And even with the new technology, a lot has changed. For instance, depending on what we're focusing on, let's say it's a church service, you find that people are more prone or more apt to get involved in a lot of the activities and the events that we do. We usually have to, with the technology, and because a lot of our people are elderly, we have to sit with them and go through what the technology is all about. So we look for people in the church area who are techno savvy, and they help us along.
Wow.
Right? You have, if there's a fashion show or retreat, you have to look at the timing. You have to look at punctuality. You have to know that you're delegating your responsibility to someone who you can rely on. And of course, one of the key factors in all of this is professionalism and being polite.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Joan, you wanted to say something, I can tell. You're just itching to jump in there.
Well, as Noreen just said, there are basic things that we still have to do. Always remember to say thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Always remember to give genuine compliments to people.
Yeah.
Mm.
Don't be boastful and arrogant or loud.
Mm-hmm.
Never, never, never. Listen.
So Joan, is that part of the etiquette are you talking about?
Yeah.
Is it part of the etiquette? Oh my goodness.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
These are the things that your volunteers, as Noreen would say, and we have done, we speak to them before and tell them all these things. And that's etiquette for an event.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do not criticize or complain in front of your audience or your client who you're working for.
Right.
You don't do that. And punctuality is key, right? You keep your clients informed. All of those are etiquettes that you have to follow. Any changes, you must discuss with your client before you make a change. You can't just have them come and then you give them a surprise.
Yeah.
Right.
See,
I thought that was just basic manners.
No, that is etiquette of
etiquette.
Planning.
Yep. Etiquette.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
and
all
Joan
in there.
said, even with the volunteers, you need to be so precise with them, scheduling for them, dress code for them. All of these are important parts of it. And even though we have technology, we still have that people, that people person kind of a issue. And we have to focus on them. At the end, we thank you. We always remember to say thank you. We get together and we have what we call postmortems, what we did right, what we did not do right, how can we improve? But all these are important parts of etiquette.
Well, I'm probably from the old school. And yeah, no reflection on my age, by the way, just so that you know that. Make that very clear. But, after an event, I was taught you always send a letter in writing, handwriting, by the way, to the person whom you've just participated in. So does that still count?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's still part of it. All of those things is still part of the etiquette of what you must do. That's why it becomes that policy of event planning. For instance, with entertainment, if you go back to entertainment guys will send you a rider and you have to follow it. You can't decide to do whatever you feel like. For instance, if they said they want sparkling water, you can't decide just to put a jug of water in the room. They ask for black towels. You can't give them white towels.
Right.
If you don't have it, you have to let them know and maybe supply some kind of equivalent and let them say yes and give you permission to make the change. All those things you must follow, and that's etiquette.
Yeah.
Host, for the same goes with the host. They will come at a rider, what they need in their room, what they want to have on stage. All of those things are things you must follow.
Okay.
The one thing I find that's coming up is titles. Titles are changing. Once upon a time was Mr., Miss, and Mr., Mrs., and Ms. Think about the titles you have these days.
Yeah.
And you have to ask your clients, when you're dealing with unknown, how will they like to be addressed?
Exactly. Yes.
You have to. That's a big thing now. You can't just assume you could call them Ms. or Mrs. or Mr.
Yeah.
You have
so, similarly, in the church, you cannot call the reverend pastor if he's a reverend or she's a reverend. Wow. You cannot call somebody canon if they're not a canon, or names like those are titles like those are very, very important. Your bishop, your reverend, very important when you're addressing your clients.
Mm-hmm. I had attended an event, and I was with a very important friend of mine, and she has the title of doctor, and the individual when we went to the table to register, this person said, "Who are you?" And was like, "Okay, all right." What should I have said to that person from an etiquette perspective?
Well, in the first place, why would someone at that level come to the event and that nobody knows who their person is?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because even if that person didn't know, they should have it written down as to the title of that person. Mm-hmm. So whoever's putting that sheet together to welcome people in should have everybody's titles attached to it, especially if you have a title. If you're just a Mr. or Mrs. whatever. But remember, you have people these days who are not being referred to as Mrs. or Ms.
Right, right.
They have different titles they're coming with. Mm-hmm. So you really have to get the titles of people.
And you don't say, you don't call somebody Mrs. if they're not, and you don't call them Ms. I remember being told once, I am not from the back in the 50s. You don't call me Ms. I am Mrs. So-and-so, or I am Miss so-and-so. And then as what Joan was saying, if you have a guest list prepared, the person who's greeting needs to be able to know who is coming and who is being seated where, and, items like that. So to ask you, who are you, is so out of place.
But, with our younger generation, that is a very possibility. So do you encourage them to come to York University to your program, Joan?
I mean, the thing about it is that you choose the people you put on that front desk.
Yes. Yes.
That's the key thing. Like in all positions in event planning, you choose individuals can carry X out. Mm-hmm. It's like, for me, over all these 30-something years doing this business, there are particular people I would say, okay, I need a Nicole in that position, nobody else. Because I know Nicole is like a me, and she will carry it out exactly the way I would carry it out. So you really have to handpick the individuals to do the work that you want them to do. You just can't just say, it's volunteers I have, and you just take them as volunteers and you throw them. No, you can't. You can't do that. The impression people must get as they enter must be nice, smooth, welcoming, and cheerful.
Joan, you mentioned a Nicole. Are you talking about Nicole Waldron? I think I know her. Okay, all right. Okay, it's probably the same person. Okay, well, we need to give a shout out to her.
Yeah,
definitely. That's my right hand.
Absolutely.
As Joan said, you handpick your people, and you look for the people who you can rely on. Right? Mm-hmm. You look for the people who can help you in certain areas. Joan Pierre looks for Noreen Callender all the time for her volunteers.
Yes.
Noreen, I'm having so and so and so, get ready. And I have to get ready. I call up my volunteers. I explain to them what we're doing. I tell them if we have a dress code. you know, and the type of function we're having, so they know exactly what to expect from us.
Okay. All right.
I'll tell you something that happened when we did the fashion show 2015. One of the designers, she had just flew in from Paris, doing a show in Paris, and came to do our show in Toronto, although she was a designer from Trinidad. And what we did with Noreen and they as volunteers, we prepared a package for every designer to have. Anything they could possibly ask for was in this little kit.
Yeah.
There's nothing they should ask any volunteer for. Everything was in this kit. So when she got there and she got her kit and went through part of the night, and she saw me sometime later on and said, Joan, I have never, and I've been around the world doing events, and I've never had a kit like that given to me for my models and what I'm putting on. Never. Because we look at those things and know how important it is. And we make sure that is the details, event planning is in the details. I tell people every day, if you're not a detailed person, you cannot be an event planner. And you have to be a multitasking type of person to be a good event planner. Those are two things that you must be: multitask, don't show stress, and detail. Well, you have to have those.
I also want to just quickly ask you before we wrap up about the dress code, because I went to a store in London, England. My husband and I were both in jeans, and they would not allow us near the door. So is that still a problem, wearing jeans in certain stores? Is that something about etiquette? Help educate me.
I won't say that is etiquette for just shopping. I would say that is the policy of the business, that they decide people with jeans are not allowed in their store, right? I don't think that I would consider that etiquette. When we talk about dress code for an event, two things. If you're putting on an event, you let your public know what the dress code is. But let's say you're just having a meeting with your client. You dress according to what the event is when you go to meet your client. So if you're going to do a sporting event and you're going to meet a client, you could be nice and relaxed in a sporting, casual type of wear, not jeans particularly, but something, and shirt, a top, skirt. But if you're going to be someone that in a boardroom for some corporate event, you better walk in with a suit.
Okay.
Yeah. Similarly, if we are having again the type of event we're having, if you are just casual during the summertime for a casual service, but if you've got a service where you've got your bishops come in and you've got your canons and all these people who are expecting you to look, a certain way, yes, we tend to explain to people the type of dress code that we would look for. We're not telling you what to wear, but we're telling you what type of event it is and what we will expect them to, to come in. I don't expect you to come in cut-off shorts, jeans, but be dressed nicely.
This is amazing conversation. What do you want your current and future generation to go? Give them 3 nuggets. Joan, I'll start with you.
Well, I'll work towards the virtual event etiquette that we have to deal with now. And I'll just give them a couple of them. Okay. Test your tech. Prepare your connections, your sound, your video settings, all the technical stuff. Make sure you do it before and troubleshoot it. Show up on time. You will not waltz in an event or a meeting late. Why are you waltzing in on a virtual date? It doesn't speak right just as well. Headphones are your friends. Invest in a headphone. Because really, really, I have to get one, by the way. But it's good, because then if you have one, you avoid that you have a dog, the doorbell is ringing, all of that, you're blocking that noise out, right? The other thing I find that people have to be very aware of is interrupting. We likely all attend events where one person takes over the conversation. Familiarize yourself with chat features, Q&A timing and guidelines, raise your hand options, so that you're not interrupting things that are going on and just doesn't seem right. So be careful when doing that. Cell phones must be turned off. Never have a cell phone ringing while you're on.
Yeah.
Dress the part. We just spoke about things like that. If you need a break, turn off your webcam and leave yourself on mute.
Okay.
We know stories already about
Joan, it sounds like you were talking to me, so I better talk to Noreen now. She may not be talking to me. She may be talking to other people. So tell us, Noreen, give us 3 nuggets.
Well, I think one of for us, the top thing is to get comfortable with the technology, right? And exactly the same things. Know your chat box, know your reactions, know when, you put your hand up when you, different aspects of the technology. The outreach and building relationships. We have that happening with us in the church, and it is working very, very well. That we are reaching out to people, we're building relationships with other churches, and the way you speak to them, the things you tell them, they're prone to want to join your event or tell stories. Tell stories that they may not have been telling others, but because of our relationship, because of the technology, they are happy to get involved with that. And then I guess that one of the other things is respecting each other. Know what your timing is. Be punctual. That's one of the things that I keep saying to people. You have a church service at 10 o'clock and I'm hosting, and at 11 o'clock, I'm trying to admit somebody in. No, it's a 10 o'clock service. Why are you coming in at 11 o'clock? And even in the service, what we try to do ahead of time is explain to people how to use your mute and unmute and your stop video buttons. Stop video. I think some people think that they have to actually log out. They're just running around to the kitchen to get something. They're logging out. No, you can just do stop video. Make sure you do your stop video. You don't want to be caught, half naked on the screen. And all these little things. So you learn how to do all these technology. And some of them, we've taught people, if you're not sure about it, give me a call. And I try to walk people through the whole technology. I'm not perfect, but at least I have sat down until 1 and 2 o'clock in the morning, Dauna, learning all these new things about the new technology.
You hit on, you both did anyway, hit on the issue of timing. I've been to events when they said, 7 o'clock sharp, and I show up 7 o'clock sharp because, I don't want to be late. I want to get front seat to begin with. And the event doesn't start until 9 o'clock. And I'm saying, why am I here? So your excuse for that would be? I don't know if they have excuses, but what would you advise them to do differently? Because too many of our events, not 100 ABC, of course, occur and they start so late.
Yes. And it's one of the things I am very much particular about, timing. Some of it I've learned from Joan. If she says 4 o'clock, you better be there at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And so depending on, the environment, you respect time. And we say that so often to people, respect time. We give you a schedule, especially your volunteers. You give them a schedule. We expect you here. If it's a 4 o'clock appointment, I would like to have you here at 3:45, right? You give them a schedule of the time that we need you to be there. If I don't see you, I'm going to put somebody else in that position.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm not messing around with you guys. Ladies, it's been amazing, a wonderful time talking with you. I think our time is up. So let me thank you both for not only enlightening me, but our audience, who is comprised of young Black girls and women. This was an invaluable information which will be available to anyone via YouTube in the very near future. Thank you so much for your time, Joan and Noreen. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Have an amazing day.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Look how far you have come on your own, but never